Welcome back to the Webby and O'Neill channel, and the latest Manchester United transfer news is that United have approached Frankfurt for Ekitike, but is it a sincere approach, or is the games being played between Manchester United and Sporting for Gyokeres? We're going to discuss it all, break it all down, so get involved, have your say, and we'll try and discuss some of your comments throughout today's video. Your first thoughts on this news that was coming out yesterday, really?
Yeah, Hugo Ekitiké. I hope I've got that pronounced right. Did not see this coming from Eintracht Frankfurt. Straight in there, an inquiry. But most surprising of all, straight out, 85 million. So that is out there. I don't think that's 85 million of a player. But there's a lot of people saying it makes sense. The Gyokeres debacle, as I see it, carrying on. This could be something to push Sporting into pushing and getting a bid and getting that sorted as quickly as possible. Games are being played, but it's a transfer window. We expect it. A lot of opinions divided on whether to go for this player. Is it a genuine, or shall we just stick to Gyokeres? Or even if there is a bid for Gyokeres.
Huge price tag there, what's being reported.
Massive.
Can you see Manchester United actually stretching it that far to bring a striker in? I mean, I want to know your thoughts and opinions on Ekitike. It's not a player that I've seen a lot of. I've got to be honest with you, all out there. Only seen clips, and you can't make head and tail out of a clip. It can make one of the worst players look good just off highlights. And you're looking at the actual strategy from Manchester United going into the summer. It's well known out there, looking for players who are proven in the Premier League. And you've got Cunha, they did go for Delap, obviously chose Chelsea. They're moving slightly to a proven goal scorer with that CV with Gyokeres. I mean, what's going on there now with Sporting and Manchester United with Gyokeres? Is the games being played here?
Yeah, this game's being played, but a lot of people say, does it make sense? Well, you've got to look at the men in suits, okay? What their reaction is, how their approach to this transfer window is. We hear a lot of talk about there not being a lot of money. Well, the men in suits, that's their game, making money, and also looking after the purse strings. So it makes sense when you look at a 22-year-old from Eintracht Frankfurt, right? There is money at the end of his contract, whereas with Gyokeres, he's 27 now, there is no value there. So this is something what the men in suits do look at. And then if you look at Eintracht Frankfurt, and what the wages they're paying him, Hugo and Ekitike, they're paying €3.5 million per year. Well, for United, a nice little upgrade on that. That is well below what Gyokeres will be looking at. So, from a point of view, value for money, United, he scored goals. I think it's 15 goals he scored last year, 33 games. So, there is value there. 22-year-old, room for improvement in that. Are we getting Gyokeres at the peak of his form? Will he do it in the Premier League? Is it just the Portuguese league where he's able to perform? We've seen it before. So looking at it from the men in suits point of view, value for money, and that's what they're looking at. Certainly not looking at paying £85 million for him. I know that for a fact, because it's just not there. 85 million for him. They've got Cunha, they're going for Mbeumo, and then obviously I think there's another player. They'll be getting either a centre-half or possibly a goalkeeper, who knows. But the value, 85 million, that came straight out. That was like a bolt from the blue, that.
Yeah, but is that price tag, though? Like I said before, there's a lot more people out there that'll know about Ekitike more than me, but is he worth that price? Has he actually got that potential in him already where you can value him at that? So then in 3 or 4 years' time, you think, oh, yeah, that's money well spent.
That's never United's valuation. It's never United's valuation,
And what it means to Frankfurt then to go and replace him. And
I think Eintracht Frankfurt have just come straight out with it, which I was gobsmacked at, really. They've already got a price for him, but he's got 4 years on his contract, so they might be looking at it from that point of view. We've got him for another 4 years. That's what it means to them each year. So this is what it's going to cost per year. So it's like £20-odd million, £21 million per year over a 4-year contract. That's how they might be looking at it. But United, if they are sincere, and I don't believe they are sincere in this, to be perfectly honest with you, okay, jumping from one player to another, it makes them look amateurish. I think Gyokeres is possibly the target. I'm doubtful that he wants to come to United. I think with Arsenal going in with the bid, there's already a price there, £46 million for Gyokeres with £8 million add-ons. Sporting have just knocked that right back. So United are looking at that. So I just think to myself, is Gyokeres really coming to United? I'm doubtful. I think this game's being played all round, and I am uncertain which way to go with anything what United are doing at the moment. I have said, I just think things will drag on. Come the end of the June, I think we'll be more clear where we are, but we have to get whoever they're going for, they have to get them in and settle them in by the end of June. That's how I look at it. To me, I just look at this young player. I've not seen him. He's right off my radar, so I'm not giving any big-time Charlie potatoes on this player. But the thing is, I think the United have looked at him and he's in a long list. And I think they could be using it to try and push other avenues down the line, as if to say, this is what we're paying. And 85 million is not going to be what United pay.
Yeah, the problem we've got, though, if, you know, our first target was Liam Delap, we're going to Gyokeres. If that doesn't work out, you're then going down the list. And then clubs around Europe will be looking at it and thinking, yeah, they're desperate here to get a striker. And that's where Man United may end up having to overpay for a striker. I mean, we might end up in that situation with Ekitike, you know, who's third on the list by the looks of it, with Delap, Gyokeres in front, where we might have to spend that extra few quid just to get him in through the door because they want a striker.
They might already know, and this is the thing with the transfer window, you just don't know what's going on. They might already know Gyokeres is off the table, so they might be just starting like preliminary, hey, we're looking at your player, we're just letting you know we're having an interest, and they've come straight out with 85 million. Well, that's the starting point, we know that. So United might just have to turn to him. He might be on the list, third on the list, and say, right, we're going for him. And the option there, I look at it, young player, low wages. This is how the men in suits look at it and his value at the end of the day. That's how I see this conversation going over the next week. And next week, the window opens and they've got to start. They have to start getting them in next week.
I've got to think to myself here, the person who actually broke this, I think it was Florian Plettenberg, over in Germany. When I've seen some of his reports in the past over the last year or two, when he's coming out with the so-called breaking news on Manchester United, it's not something that I ever look back on and think, yeah, he was right with that report. I'm always a little bit dubious when he does say things about Manchester United, and I'm leaning more towards that it's possibly agents, or maybe Ekitike's agent is wanting a move for his player, and he's putting that out there because United are scouring the market there for a striker, do you know what I mean? And he's putting him in the mix.
Well, it's down to United to come out and dismiss these reports. Will they do that? I'm not too sure about this. Listen, they're more open to conversations when it comes to transfers over in Germany. Clubs do talk openly. So for me, I think United have looked at him and made an inquiry. What type of inquiry, how serious it is, only time will tell on that.
Yeah, big shift from the strategy, like I mentioned before, you know, going for lads that are like proven in the Premier League, going to then a youngster in the German league. So, yeah, I just want to know your thoughts and opinions on Ekitike as a player, and if you think the rumours and the approaches are true that Manchester United have done with Eintracht Frankfurt. But Gyokeres, I seen yesterday, I'm sure a few of you out there have seen the same thing on his Instagram, saying that there's been a lot of talk out there and he will actually talk on the situation soon. I've also seen reports from his actual agent as well saying he's got evidence of that gentleman's agreement as well. So,
well, it's just getting a farce, to be honest with you. They keep coming out talking. I'm going to make a statement down the line, and it's just carrying on talking, and his agent's talking, and his agent, let's get something straight. His agent, from all the reports, I've been over, I had discussions, over £46 million. Arsenal have put a bid in for him with the add-ons. So there's a deal there. There's obviously a contract been spoken about and everything. So is he eyeing United, and now is he being touted all round because they know that United are out of the market for him for whatever reason, and United have turned their attention? I just don't like what's going on with this Gyokeres. I spoke the other day about it. Not really fuming about it. I'm just getting sick of it. Because really, United, there's no confirmation United have even spoke to Sporting, and I don't see any reason why they shouldn't have spoken to him. I mean, if they've spoken to Eintracht Frankfurt straight away, they come out with an 85 million opening offer. This is what we want. then why haven't United spoken to Sporting and things like this have happened? It's all messy regarding Gyokeres and going into United's culture and everything else like that. Spoke about it the other day. This is not what we want to see in the transfer window. We want straight action in there. Get them, just like we did with Kuna. There's the money. We'll sort a deal out. And then you've got Mbeumo, and then that's being talked about. They put a bid in, 55 million. Well, nothing's been put in for Gyokeres, and I find it very, very tedious at this moment in time.
Yeah, Marcus Stevenson says no British reporters have talked about it. It's all mostly Portuguese papers, and yeah, it does look like the agent is using the Portuguese papers over there to get his bit out, his slice of the pie in all this. We've got evidence of the gentleman's agreement, etc. Even the noises coming out that Gyokeres will actually go on strike, that he won't report for pre-season training and stuff like that. That side of things, you know, if that is true, that, you know, that doesn't sit well with me, to be honest, with players, and it's looking like it is very, very messy. And I think you made a really good point there about United not actually discussing sitting around the table with Sporting and actually lodging an offer already. Do you know what I mean? Compared to what's going on there in reports with Eintracht Frankfurt.
Yeah, I just think it's got too messy. The agent coming out, I've got evidence and all that. There's no need for all that. Yeah. Just keep your mouth shut and start the negotiations. And the negotiations haven't started. And probably when I look at it, I think this is why the agent's coming out, because no one actually came in and give any formal bids or inquiries. And it just looks like Arsenal have like moved because they might be worried that they might not get a centre forward. And like right round this Premier League, everyone's looking for a forward. So they've forced an issue there. There's something on the table. Whereas United, what United going to do? Just walk straight in and then within a day sort it out when there's an offer. And I suspect that there's a contract offer on the table, and the agent wants to get something sorted because he believes, as I see it, right, that there's nothing there, there's nothing concrete, and the agent really will get a fee. We know that. We know how ruthless these agents are, and Gyokeres wants out, and he wants a right big contract for the remaining of his career. He's 27. He's looking at 31 years of age, 4-year contract, and probably an option. And you can't blame Gyokeres, but it looks as though no one's coming until this late thing with Arsenal coming in and putting something on the table and an offer. And that's fair enough from Arsenal. Yeah. What's not fair enough, from our point of view as fans, is all this talk from Portugal newspapers and everything, in the agent and Gyokeres himself about Man United. Well, he could be using Man United to get a move elsewhere, and I don't believe he's really set his heart on Man United. I think he's set his heart on this is Gyokeres. I think he's set his heart on a move, and Man United once again are being used by agents and players. That's how I read it, and I might be totally wrong. Fine.
I just get the feeling that there's not that conviction there from Gyokeres like we've seen with Cunha, where he wants Manchester United, he wants to come to Manchester United, and he's more or less really sat there, you know, letting people know that he wants to move from Sporting, and just to see what offers actually do come in for him, and then he'll actually look at it and then decide from there.
Well, that's right. So when you look at the Mbeumo saga, what's going on, Man United have put a bid in, 55 million. All the talk straight away was he wants to come to Man United. You've not heard of anybody else. It's only like because Thomas Frank has gone to Tottenham, you've heard little stories coming out going, oh, don't move there, sign for Tottenham and all that. But there's nothing going on there. Okay, it's all speculation. So United have gone in, they've had conversations, they're still having conversations, and you would expect something concrete next week about a second bid. So the conversations are going on, and Mbeumo, it's all sounding as though he wants to come here. Not like Gyokeres, it sounds as though he's being touted about.
Yeah, we did say, what was it, a week ago, maybe even 10 days ago, getting all caught up in my days, but Mbeumo, to have patience there, because, you know, it was never going to be a quick transfer straight after, you know, with Cunha, and then you're getting Thomas Frank thrown in there, you know, now completed his move to Spurs. So they had a lot to sort out at Brentford, but I would expect to see movement, though, over the weekend or the next 7 days, with a bid actually being lodged, maybe even then agreed with Brentford.
I think what it is with Brentford, that obviously with losing the manager, and I'd expect the sporting director there is overloaded with work, to be honest with you. They're not a massive club. They've only got a small contingent of people what do certain work, and I expect his feet, he's just run off the ground. So they've got to bring in a replacement, and I think that's what might be holding up any shout going out there about the second bid and everything else like that, and then Mbeumo coming here. They've got to get a replacement, and they've got to get a replacement manager. So the sporting director will be looking at it and thinking, right, they've spoken to Thomas Frank last year. They were looking at probably bringing in this player this year. But, hey, will they go and get a player without having a manager in place? So there's big problems there for Brentford. So we might have to be a bit more patient when they actually think about it. They've got to get a manager in. Would they bring a player in? Would it be sensible to bring a player in without a manager? For me, I don't think so.
Do you think we could be at a point where we actually don't bring a striker in this summer? I mean, if you're looking at the situation, what's going on with Gyokeres, by the sounds of it, it's not just Manchester United that are interested as well. You will have options on the table. Ekitike, is that a genuine approach? Is that a genuine interest from Manchester United, especially at that transfer fee? I mean, where did he go from there, really?
Listen, it wouldn't surprise me that we go right to the death, end of July, and then go and find someone on a loan. Honest to God, it would not surprise me. There is other players they need to get. They've got to get them over the line. So for me, a striker, 85 million, a lot of negotiating there, and really we need them in. Whoever's out there, whoever they're going to go for, in any position, they need to get them in before the pre-season, and that's at the end of January, before the players start coming back in early July.
Yeah, some man for one man says we need players who want to be part of the team, not individual egomaniacs. Yarlis says the only news I've seen on Mbeumo is that it will happen before pre-season. July the 1st to the 12th is the date to look at.
Well, I'd expect that, because I think Brentford will crack on getting a new manager, getting a replacement for Mbeumo, and a couple of weeks now, obviously, conversations are going on here, there and everywhere, bringing in a new player, bringing in a new manager, and I think the next couple of weeks it will be sorted. We might even have it sorted next week, to be honest with you, but I think it'll be the back end at the earliest, any news on it. But it's going to be like, put your hands on your bum, sit there and hold tight, because I've no fear about Mbeumo coming here, and he's a worker, he's a goal scorer, and he will, like, with Kuna coming in, a goal scorer, and having Mbeumo there, absolutely fantastic. Is it the end of the world if we don't get a striker?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Definitely.
Is it the end of the world?
We've needed a striker for God knows how many years now. It seems like when we first started this channel 5 years ago, all we've been talking about for the last 3 years anyways, we need 2 strikers in the summertime, and for us to go through this transfer window without getting that actual striker with the CV of putting the ball in the back of the net, I mean, there's only so much, you know, your number 10s, your midfield can do. I mean, you need that striker in the penalty box.
Well, if you look at the transfer window and the people they brought in, when it was clear to everyone we needed a goal scorer last summer, okay, then don't be surprised what goes on here. And I go back to what I was talking about early on. I mean, the men in suits, they're accountants. That's what they're doing. They're looking at everything like that. So a lot of their strategy will be down to payments, how they pay it, wages, everything else like that. And that might be a stumbling block for a lot of players what are actually associated with United in this transfer window.
Yeah, no, I do get that. But let's just hope that we do see some movement with a striker, because I think that's and it's been a priority signing for a lot of fans out there. I mean, everyone discussing it in the comments section, the live chats, near enough every day since we've finished the season. Everyone wants a striker in because they know how important it is, because of the lack of goals that we've seen in the Premier League.
A striker. We want 2 strikers. We don't want one. We want 2 strikers, okay? One striker's not going to get us through. So there might have to be a revision by a lot of fans about how we go here. And I think the club will go slowly this summer. I honestly do. It's not 1 striker we need. We've needed 2 strikers for a long, long time.
Gaz M93. Dan, these guys don't even look on social media. Well, we don't have to look on social media all the time, mate. I mean, it only takes a few seconds to look at a report and think, is that real or is it fake? I mean, it don't need to be studied a lot of the time. I mean,
what does social media give you?
I know.
You take everything in what social media gives you. We're giving our opinion on how it looks, on how the transfer window, and how United are delving into this. We've gone on about Gyokeres a few times, saying why has not one person from Man United been over at Sporting to start negotiations to say, right, let's set a date so we can sit down? That's not happened, okay? So you look at social media, you can be driven mad by social media if you live your life on it all day. We're giving our opinions based on certain reports. Now, Kieran doesn't give this 100% credence for the report coming out from Germany, and I do look at it in a different way, that they talk and their approach to conversations about players leaving and everything is more open. So I don't need to trawl social media, because social media can distort you in a lot of the way. Now, I give my opinions based on how I feel, on how I see things, and also I go back in time as well and say, well, this is how it is. But I also give you fact, and the fact is the men in suits are worried about money. That is their first priority, as you well know, and as we've all seen.
Gaz, you've gone quiet, mate. You was getting involved in the chat with the social media thing. You've gone quiet, pal. Simply Dread says social media gives you people like that. I totally agree, mate. Some people can just get stuck into it too much, to be honest with you, and start believing every single report and everything they hear. And you need to take a step back from it sometimes and do some critical thinking of your own. A lot of people getting involved as well, talking about players possibly moving out. I mean, the ones that come to mind straight away, your Sanchos, your Rashfords, your Antonys, etc. I mean, Casemiro still going under the radar in a lot of conversations out there, especially on our channel. Do you expect him to say and actually see out the remaining year of his contract?
Casemiro's going under the radar because a couple of weeks ago he come out with and went, I'm really, really happy at Manchester United. I've no intention of moving. So I don't think he'll move. No one will pay him them wages. He's under contract. You know the score. He's going to be staying as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Listen, the one player everyone's talking about being linked with, and that's Martinez, the goalkeeper from Aston Villa, and Onana moving. And I don't believe Onana's moving. I seen something this morning, looked at it, and I thought to myself, I think it was Rob Dawson. He'd done a tweet this morning.
Was you looking at social media?
No, a tweet came up where I was. And he's turning around, trying to mention Onana as though Man United aren't looking to sell him. Well, I've been saying that for a long time. And Martinez, we won't get any conversation about him till the end of June, to be honest with you, because I think that's when he's fully paid up by Aston Villa. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I do just look at it with Onana, especially. I don't see enough noise out there from credible sources that, you know, Man United are really in a rush to actually get him off the books, to be honest with you. I don't think maybe it's a reason of the money's not there, the budget can't stretch that far to then go and get a goalkeeper. But, you know, the African Nations is up as well next season, so I don't fancy the idea either of giving Bayinde a running goal either. He frightens me to death, just like Onana does at times.
Well, we were just talking about social media. I've ignored social media about Onana. I've talked about Man United will not sell Onana, in my opinion, and I've gave my reasons why. Okay, he's 60-odd million £60 No one's going to buy him, right? He's not been good, but he's still there. He's been here 2 years, and I think they'll give him one more season. Okay, when the team changes. So at the end of the day, he's a footballer. They signed him as a footballer, as a goalkeeper who can play the ball out with his feet and everything else like that. And he's not had chance to do it because of the poor team in front of him. That's how I see it. And I've gave my reasons. And you know what? There's not really anyone coming out with any news about any club wanting Onana or Manchester United selling him, which, from the outcry from Man United fans, which is understandable, right, you would have expected some movement by now. So this, for me, Onana's staying here.
Yeah. I'd just like to thank you all for joining us today, getting involved in the chat. Oh, actually, yeah, Cunha yesterday, in brand new Manchester United kit, sat down there with Jason Wilcox. You know, he's give the, you know, the expected speech, aren't he, really, what you do get from players when they first sign, you know, that have been a boyhood Manchester United fan, all that kind of stuff. But it is actually a player away from that, that I'm excited to see in a United shirt next season to see what he can do.
Well, I'll say this on his speech in that. It was a lot more enthusiastic than when Jadon Sancho gave his first speech at Carrington, right? How underwhelming was that? But hey, this kid likes United, says he's followed them since he's been in Brazil. And I just can't wait for this kid because of the way, if we get Mbeumo, I think with these two goal scorers, the way they go, I think we're going to see a different shape, a different approach in the team and how it works with one or two more additions. We have to get 2 more additions in. That's how I see it.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Thanks for getting involved in the chat as well with your own opinions. If you want to continue the conversation, please do in the comment section and smash a like on today's video to help support the channel. And we'll see you back on Monday. Enjoy your weekend and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.